everybody. You might remember a few weeks ago I did a video on the Fiesta Bowl and its troubles because of its CEO at that time, John Junker, as he and some of his colleagues were using a lot of Fiesta Bowl money for an extensive period of time for personal benefits. We're talking about private plane rides. We're also talking about expensive golf memberships at prestigious clubs, also cruises, and even trying to get their groove on by spending a lot of money, Fiesta Bowl money, at strip clubs in the Phoenix area. And this had gone on for an extensive period of time. As if making over $500,000 a year was not enough for John Junker, he had to spend Fiesta Bowl money for his personal pleasure, him and his colleagues. So naturally, when the board of the Fiesta Bowl found out after an investigation, they had no other alternative but to axe Mr. Junker. But here's what really caught my eye. This is the reason why I'm mad. Shortly after Junker's dismissal, one of the executive directors of the Bowl Championship Series, Bill Hancock, made an interesting statement. And after I heard the statement, I thought for sure, and I had no reason to believe otherwise, that the Fiesta Bowl would be in a lot of trouble and would really have the hammer come down on them. Hancock said in part that we hold our BCS Bowl games, meaning the sugar, the orange, the rose, and of course the Fiesta, to the highest standards. Actions such as these will not be tolerated. I only have 5 words for Mr. Hancock after the mere $1 million fine applied against the Fiesta Bowl this week, and plus they'll still be allowed to remain in the BCS rotation, which also means that they will be allowed to host a national championship game every 4 years. I have just 5 words for Mr. Hancock. Liar, liar, pants on fire. The BCS had an opportunity to make a statement, or in this case, they had an opportunity to back up their statement, but yet they tucked their tail in between their legs and they decided to do absolutely nothing except give the Fiesta Bowl, fine them $1 million, which is chicken feed, by the way. Those bowl games make millions of dollars. I'll give you an example of how they're going to get their money no matter what. University of Connecticut played OU this past year in the Fiesta Bowl. Your school is charged millions of dollars to go to that bowl game by the BCS, whether you sell out your allotment of tickets or not. In this case, Connecticut could not sell out their allotment of tickets, so what happened? Connecticut ended up losing more than $2 million. First time they've been to a BCS game, you might be saying, well, that's Connecticut's fault. This economy's pretty rough in case you didn't know it. And in case you didn't know it, it's not exactly a walk in the park, a trip across the street from Storrs, Connecticut, all the way to Glendale, Arizona. Sometimes it's difficult to find the money to make that long of a trip, and also to find a lot of money to pay for those BCS tickets. Very expensive tickets. But yet the BCS is going to find a way to get their piece of the pie. And in this case, the BCS just added to their piece of pie by fining the Fiesta Bowl $1 million and allowing them to remain a part of the Bowl Championship Series after they said that such actions will not be tolerated. Hancock, you're a joke. And you wonder why the BCS is often referred to as complete BS. Now you might be saying to yourself, people make mistakes. You know, John Junker and his colleagues were just a small part of the Fiesta Bowl. Well, the one thing I would tell you, this just doesn't stem from him using Fiesta Bowl money for his pleasure. This wasn't just about breaking the rules, and I really want to make this clear. They also were breaking the law as well, as if breaking the rules of the BCS, which apparently the BCS doesn't hold you accountable for in the big scheme of things, they were breaking the law as well by giving their employees an opportunity to make campaign contributions in turn for being compensated. That is against Arizona law. That right there is jail time if you're caught. So it just wasn't breaking the laws. We're talking about illegal actions. We're talking about stuff, like I said, they'll get you behind bars. And this had been going on. And yet the BCS says, we're going to fine you $1 million. We trust that this won't happen again. You know, the NCAA, I don't always agree with what they say and what they do. But typically, you're going to get punished. And you're going to get punished pretty hard, whether you're a player or whether you're an institution of higher learning, if you break the rules. And yes, it does impact everybody, as we found out with SMU back in the 80s for constantly breaking the rules. They got the death penalty. Oklahoma, we found out what happened in the late 80s when they were breaking the rules. USC just recently with Reggie Bush. Ohio State. They could end up in a lot of hot water. And 2 years ago, Des Bryant told a white lie to the NCAA. You know what? He didn't get to play for the rest of the year because of that, and never got to play college football again. So at least the NCAA does something worth of high punishment if you break the rules. The BCS remains a joke. And thanks to what we saw this week, by only fining the Fiesta Bowl, now they're a bigger joke than ever.